Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lysha from Lysha Be Creative, and today is day 3 of my 8 Days of Christmas video series here on YouTube. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to be making and showing you how I created these gorgeous winter and Christmas themed epoxy glittered pens. I love putting these together because they make great stocking stuffers or gifts for teachers. So of course, everything I use in today's tutorial will be listed and linked down in that description box down below. Make sure you check that description box out for discount codes as well as links to all of my social media. So thank you for coming on back for day 3. Let's go ahead and jump into today's tutorial.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I have this little handy like bead jewelry separator that I purchased from Michael's, and it's what I use to separate all of my pen parts and keep everything together so that when I go to put my pens back together, I have all my pieces in one spot. So we are using the InkJoy gel pens. I will link them in the description box down below. The ones I bought come in a pack of 12. I think I originally purchased them for like $10, but I know they've gone up since the last time I've purchased them. And so I just twisted off that little clip on the side of each of them after I disassembled them. And now I'm just going to sand that little clip piece down, that pokey sharp part, as well as sand all around the pens. Once I'm done sanding with my nail file that I like to use to sand my pens, I'm just going to clean these off with 91% rubbing alcohol, just giving them each a nice rub down, making sure to remove any of the sanding grit from off of the pens. Okay, so now it's time to get these prepped. So I purchased this little pen stand that you see in front of me from True Quality, and I also have a turner attachment that goes directly onto my turner that I also purchased from True Quality. So I am just putting my little skewers into my pens and then using my drying rack there to hold my pens so that I can prime these. So I am using Prime Time from CCDIY to prime all of my pens white. You could spray paint these. It just was a rainy day when I was putting these pens together, so I decided to use Prime Time to get these pens prepped for glittering. So I'm going to do 2 coats of each pen. 2 coats of Prime Time rather on each pen to make sure I have a nice coat and I don't have any scratches or any of the pen showing underneath. Okay, so now it's time for glittering. So I have 6 pens here and I have 6 different designs that I'm going to be doing on each of these pens. So I am taking some washi tape that I had on hand, and for this pen that is going to be more of a candy cane swirl, I am using that washi tape to be kind of the placemaker for my vinyl to kind of separate where I want my colors to be. So I'm also going to do the same thing on a second pen, except for on this pen is going to be a V-split pen. So I'm doing the exact same thing that I would do with a regular V-split on a tumbler on a pen. And I'm using washi tape to be able to create the lines that I need to separate my 2 glitters. So now it's time to get into glittering of each of these pens and sharing with you what I used. So for the first pen here, I'm going to use this pearlescent blue that I have and mix it with a little bit of Mod Podge, and we are going to paint this acrylic paint mixture onto the candy cane swirl pen. So I am going to be glittering this pen with Silent Night from Maisha Creations. It's this gorgeous baby blue. It's just so pretty and sparkles so brightly. I thought this would look super cute and kind of matches that unique candy cane swirl tumbler I did a couple days ago. So for the middle part there, I've removed that washi tape and I've mixed up Chit Chat and fairy dust to create this little mix of glitters to then color in that swirl that was where the washi tape was. Now on to my second pen, I am just going to cover this in traditional Mod Podge here, and we are going to go in with 2 colors here. I am going in with that Silent Night once again, and we're going to create an ombre. So Silent Night is going to be up top, and then I have Snow Angel from Maisha Creations going in on the bottom. Now for my third pen here, we are going to be using that Chit Chat and mix of fairy dust, and we're going to be dousing this entire pen in this gorgeous mix of pink and white here. And then now for my next pen here, I do have to paint this pen green. This is going to be a full green pen here, so we're going to paint this with acrylic paint first, let that dry, and then apply a coat of Mod Podge. Once we've applied our coat of Mod Podge, I'm going to go in with this green glitter I got from Shop Vinyl Gallery to paint that one green. Now just prepping my next pen, I am going to paint this bottom part with Mod Podge with some red glitter from Shop Vinyl Gallery, and then on the top portion with Mod Podge, we are going to go in with Snow Angel. Once we've gotten Snow Angel applied, we're going to remove that washi tape from in between, and we're going to go back in with that green paint mixed with a little bit of Mod Podge, and we're going to paint that section, and then finally go back into that middle section there with that green glitter that I got from the Shop Vinyl Gallery. So of course I'll list all of these glitters down in the description box down below. For my next pen, I'm going to do kind of like an ombre because we're going to be using a little bit of a chunky glitter. So I'm going to apply Mod Podge over that red and white. And on the bottom, we're doing Sleigh Ride, which is quite a bit of a chunky mix from Peachy Olive Glitters. And then up top, we're going to use Fairy Dust, which is that fine cut white glitter we've been using. Once all of my glitters dried, I did go in and seal these with clear gloss spray, and now it's on to the turner we go. So this is that attachment that I got from True Quality Designs, and I'll make sure to link that down in the description box below. The other thing that you could use, and I did use when I first started, is just a pool noodle attached to your turner arm and just poking holes with your skewers in there. So now it's time to epoxy. So this is just how I epoxy, kind of a quick video of this. I just take the pen off of the turner one at a time, dip my finger in my epoxy, get that all nice and slathered on each pen, and then put it back on the turner to cure. So 2 full coats before we go into sanding and decals. And just like that, we're on to decals. So I've taken all of my pens off the skewers, and I'm just going to sand the top and bottom. A lot of these were pretty smooth after the 2 coats, so not a whole lot of sanding. So for this all green glittered pen, I am using some nail tape. I have like a bronzy gold color that I'm going in with first, and just attaching that to the bottom and rolling my pen like I would as if it was on that cup cradle I like to use for pens or for tumblers, and I'm just rolling that away from me to create that swirl and straight line. So now going back in the middle with a silver piece of nail tape, again in that same motion, kind of guiding that pen and rolling it along the desk. That way I can create that nice beautiful swirl. So I'm just going to go back in with all of my pens and just really quickly sand. Most of them, as I said, were pretty smooth after that second coat of epoxy. So I am just doing any light sanding that I need to. I'm using a 60 grit sanding block. There's not really too much to knock off, but it's a pretty worn 60 grit sanding block, so it's not doing too much scratching on my pens. So really just cleaning up that top and bottom, and then cleaning all of the pens off again with rubbing alcohol to get all of that sanding debris off of them. Okay, so now we're going to work on the candy cane swirl. So I have a very thin piece of white vinyl here, and I'm going to do the exact same thing I did with the nail tape on the green pen, and I'm going to anchor that vinyl down at one end and then roll that pen away from me so that that vinyl creates that swirl. So that white piece is right in between where that pink and blue is, and it literally looks like a peppermint stick you would take right off of the tree. So for this pen, I got these stickers from Hobby Lobby. You guys saw me use stickers in my last tutorial. These were some cute little fun stickers, and they have little pieces of holly that I thought I would add to the V-split pen here. So the V-split pen is still on its skewer because I actually needed to wait for my husband to get home. I got some epoxy stuck in the very top of my pen here and could not get the stick out to save my life. So I'm just going to add the decals, wait till he gets home before I can add that final coat of epoxy. So now with that one done, we're going to move on to Sleigh Ride and Fairy Dust, and we're going to take that same set of stickers and we're going to take and cut off a little piece of that Merry Christmas piece of sticker paper there and apply that to this pen. Now for my final pen is the pink pen. So I left the blue and white one as is and decided that I wanted to add these cute little snowflakes, this cute little snowflake rather, that I got from the Dollar Tree, believe it or not, and add this to my pink pen. So this is a white kind of plastic snowflake that I grabbed, and I'm using just a little bit of UV resin that I have had for a while, and we're just going to cure that right on to our pen. And so there you have it. All of those pens are nice and done. The pink one didn't need any more sanding or any more coats of epoxy, so I did go ahead and leave that, and the rest of the pens went back onto the turner for a final coat of epoxy before assembling these back together. So now we are back to the process of putting all these pens back together, and so I like to take my weeding tool, or you can use a craft knife, to just clean out the bottom and top and make sure you don't have any epoxy stuck in any of those areas. If you do, you'll have a very hard time getting that bottom piece screwed onto the bottom, so make sure that those insides are nice and cleaned out. So we're just going to assemble these pieces, and I love having this little like tackle box jewelry separator thing that I'm calling it to keep my pieces together, because then I can be guaranteed that I'm not missing pieces and I don't have to go looking around for wherever I may have misplaced them. So that is it, and that kind of concludes today's tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you give this video a huge thumbs up.